calling of the Traffic and Parking Advisory Board meeting to order. Good afternoon and welcome. The Traffic and Parking Advisory Board reviews items of interest regarding parking and traffic items. We are an advisory board, and our favorable recommendation today will go before the Oshkosh Common Council. The council can accept or reject any recommendation from this board. If you don't agree with our decision, you can in fact discuss that very same item with any council member. If the board does not recommend an item, a common council member may sponsor a new ordinance regarding that same item. All items do require 2 readings before the common council. The first reading will take place on Tuesday, December 27th at 6 p.m., and you will be allowed to comment on the item at that time, though the council will in fact take no action. On Tuesday, January 10th at 6 p.m., the item will be on a second reading, at which time the council will take action. You will again be allowed to speak at that time. For this afternoon's meeting, I will read each agenda item, at which time, if you'd like to speak, please step to the podium and give both your name and address. I do ask that you keep your comments pertinent to the agenda item. The item will then come back to this board for discussion and action. Please confirm a quorum by calling the roll.
Jasinski. Aye.
Hartman.
Aye.
Becker.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Schwann-Schneider.
Here.
Staple.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. First item on the agenda then is public comment, and seeing no member of the public in attendance, with the board's permission, I'm going to jump right then to the Pledge of Allegiance. So can we all stand and recite the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item then after that would be approval of minutes.
So moved. Second.
Does anyone have any comments, questions, additions, or deletions to those minutes? Seeing none, I will ask that the roll be called on approval of minutes.
Jasinski.
Aye.
Hartman.
Aye.
Becker.
Aye.
Hanson.
Aye.
Schwann-Schneider.
Aye.
Staple.
Aye.
Which then, Mr. Collins, brings us to old business. I don't believe there is any unless... Okay. So then we move to new business. First item being a request to adopt the new layout of the 300 East parking lot.
Yeah, first just for clarification, there is no council meeting at the end of December, so actually the 2
Oh.
meetings will be January.
I was
But we
unaware.
just have
I
yeah.
apologize.
No problem. But we just have the one item anyways, so, that'll be good. But, so the 300 East lot, it was reconstructed this year. So the layout's very similar to what it was previously. So what we did is we just tried to replicate, the layout the best as possible, the previous lot. So there'll remain 5 permanent stalls, 2 handicap, and the rest were 2-hour parking. So this new layout replicates that, configuration. So in the municipal code now, what we do is we adopt the actual map. So actually, so this map will actually go into the municipal code then, and that'll be the official regulations in that lot. So that lot's done, other than there's a dumpster enclosure that's not complete yet, but the rest of the lot is done. So that's the gist of it.
Dumpster enclosure is the upper left there? Or?
Yeah, it's that rectangle. I guess it'd be, yeah, bottom left, if you got Washington on the top.
Okay, yeah, I was looking at it that way.
Well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I do need a motion second to,
Move it.
Second.
anyone else besides Dan have any questions?
Is there a regulation that we couldn't extend parking into these spots and still have enough room to the building, or
Which ones?
that are marked yellow or beige? Or
I think they're right up next
Oh,
to the building.
yeah.
I mean, is there enough room to the building
No.
yet, or not?
No, that's why they hatched those out, because when engineering did the design, there wasn't enough room there to make those parking stalls. And you need some radius too for vehicles coming in and out of the lot.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we had enough room there.
Anyone else with a question regarding the new or the new layout, I should say? All right, seeing no one else, I'm going to ask that the roll be called on new business 1.
Jasinski.
Aye.
Hartman.
Aye.
Aye.
Hanson,
Aye.
Schneiter,
Aye.
Stabler.
Aye.
Which then brings us to the 2023 capital improvement dashboard.
All right, well, I'm gonna turn this over to James, who's our Public Works Director. I asked him to come, and for a number of reasons. First, I think this is kind of cool that we have this dashboard on our website. Secondly, so we can get a little bit of the information out for the public, and then also for your information. So, as you get questions about projects that are going on or what might be planned, like, hey, is my street gonna get reconstructed in the next couple years, or what's going on here or there? I think this is a good tool to kind of show you that information. So I'm gonna turn it over to James to show you that.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, the dashboard is something we started probably about 4 or 5 years ago. Certainly started out with just the 5-year capital improvement program. As we've expanded our capital improvement planning to 10 years, that was really a little bit much to put on one dashboard, so we've got 2 of them available on the capital improvement program website. So from the city's main homepage under the government tab, the capital improvements tab will then get you to the capital improvements program page. So as you can see, there's a 28 to 32, that's kind of years 6 through 10, and 2023 through 2027, that's the first 5 years of the plan. And then, there's items here for the dashboard for each of those 2. So if we click on the first 5 years of the plan, that'll bring you up to a map. It starts out zoomed out to, pretty much the extents of the city and the projects. So typically, zoom in. You can zoom with the scroll wheel on the mouse or click the plus minus arrows. A lot of this is filterable as well. So say you want to limit what you're seeing to year 2023, you can come down in the middle here, click on 2023. It grays out all the rest of the projects and only shows you things going on in 2023. If you want to flip on, just any one year, otherwise you click back on the year that's filtered out and it'll display all of the years. So if I just click on 2023, for example, now you can see kind of the highlights of everything that's being shown. You can then zoom in and click on a project, and it'll give you project information about that project. For some reason, that one, here we go, opens up in a pop tab here with that particular project that you've clicked on. So this one is, the Osborne Avenue asphalt project that we're doing in conjunction with Wisconsin Department of Transportation using bipartisan infrastructure law funding. So that, all the information that's listed in the capital improvement program, so what type of project, what year, the name, you scroll down, a description, the costs that were in the CIP budget, all that information is shown in this little pop-up window that pops up. You can close that, you can click on another one. Here's the Washburn project, which is, again, that's another one of the bipartisan infrastructure law projects, doing an asphalt pavement replacement. It's not full reconstruction, but all that information that's in the capital improvement program is then shown in the little pop-up window for that project. So it's really a very graphical means to show, what can be just a lot of data in the capital improvement program. So again, some of these, you can see actually if we click, if we look over here on the CIP sections, it's the color coding is kind of what the projects are. So these orange ones are all street reconstruction projects. So here we've got the Wisconsin Street project from New York to Bent. Again, the description, total cost. I'm not seeing the actual breakdown by section, so that's something that we used to have shown, but now it's just showing the total cost. So we'll have to work with the GIS team to find out why they're kind of accumulating some of that instead of showing us the actual breakdowns. But you can see there's project lists as you zoom in and out and filter things. The bars on the sides all update with each zoom. All of the bars are moving and updating, basically showing you what you're seeing in the screen. So it's a very interactive way for people to see what our, in this case, 5-year plan. Clicking over to years 6 through 10, there's not as much information because not all all of our capital improvement program sections have gotten expanded out to a 10-year plan. But you can see, primarily focusing on the street projects that are being currently shown in years 6 through 10 of the capital improvement program.
And so for this coming year, last year Algoma Boulevard was the big project. This coming year, Wisconsin Street will be probably the biggest project. And then the President's Day. So there's a couple by the university.
McKinley and Lincoln by the university, Wisconsin Street, and then Tyler, Arthur, Coolidge, Bauman, kind of the President's area over by Roosevelt. Is that an elementary school? Yeah.
And then the two asphalt projects that James previously mentioned. So those are the big projects that are planned for 2023.
You can see the blue showing up here. Those are water main only projects. So, this is, I believe this is Beach, if I remember correctly. So Beach, that's a street over the last 5 years. Some of those winters, our water distribution crews were out there for weeks on end fixing water main breaks. They'd fix one, get it repressurized, and it'd break 10 feet down the way. Fix that one, get it repressurized, it'd break 10 feet down the way again. So they spent a couple of weeks straight out there, so we're just going in and getting that whole water main and that whole stretch replaced. Hollister and Clark's Court, same thing. There's some 4-inch water main out there, which is one of the things that, as the DNR reviews our water distribution system, 4-inch water main is one of the things they've been pressuring us to get rid of in our system, get everything up to at least a minimum of 6. Our standard is 8. So trying to get some of those undersized mains replaced that they've been pressuring us on.
So that's a good summary. I don't know if you have any questions or?
I went and looked at the video, and the video was really quite informative. So
The YouTube video here.
that was very useful.
Yeah, this this used to be, we just did this as a neighborhood meeting in the fall. Certainly when COVID came about, we weren't having meetings. Oshkosh Media helped us basically record that presentation. And, even as we transition back to having public meetings, I'm going to continue to do this recording in Oshkosh Media's studio, because not everybody can make the meeting, or, if you're not on a street that's in next year's plan, you didn't get noticed about it. But, that current next year's plan, it's about a 30-minute video usually. We try to keep it to, or thereabouts. And we're going to keep putting that up there, so that's always available on a next year's basis. So I appreciate that you did find it very useful. That's good, because, Andy and I, that's something we've been working on. And I know Scott behind the corner there helps us with that one as well.
What else? All right, thank you. Which then
You're
brings
welcome.
us to staff statements, Mr. Collins.
Well, we have one current opening, and then we have another opening with Mr. Becker stepping down. So we still have 2 openings. If you know anybody, or if anybody in the public's watching, we're still looking for members. So that's going to be important coming up in January. And then the only other thing is, like I mentioned, I think we figured out that Dan's been on the board for 10 years, so we appreciate your service and thank you for the 10 years that you served. So
It's a bittersweet divorce, for lack of a better term. I can use that word in this context. Does anyone have any future agenda requests?
no, the only other update
Oh,
I had
sorry.
was for Mr. Shazinski, that I did have the forestry department did go out and look at that area that we talked about over by South Park. So all the leaves were off the trees,
Yeah.
so I wasn't sure exactly which one you were talking about, but they said they would take a look at it and take care of it.
Yeah, like I said, now with the leaves off, it's not a problem, but I was just hoping to get it done before next spring.
So they did go out there and evaluate. I don't know what they did, but they said they'd take care of anything that looked like it was an issue.
Thanks.
All right, then, to future agenda requests. Apparently no one has any, so then for the final time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
think we have a move and a second there, if you want to differentiate which one's which. I will ask that the roll be called on adjourn.
Jazinski,
Aye.
Hartman,
Aye.
Becker,
Aye.
Hanson,
Aye.
Juan Schneider,
Aye.
Sable.
Aye.
Mr. Becker, any last words for the group?
Keep it on the straight and narrow, and clean side up, dirty side down.
Keep it between
Thanks,
the
Dan.
lines.